sad world. Today I am taking here class 10, first chapter, light, reflection and refraction. Okay, see. Class 10. Okay, before starting the class, first of all, you subscribe my channel and maximum share it. Then you enable the bell icon. Then you will get the notifications. See, children, first of all, what is light? Light is a form of invisible energy which produces the sensation of sight or vision. We already studied it from lower class, but doesn't matter. Now again I am telling the definition for light. Light is a form of invisible energy which produces the sensation of light or sight. We can see some objects. We can see objects in the presence of light, although the light is itself invisible. We see a variety of objects in the world around us. These objects classifying in this chapter, these objects classify into two groups. They are, see, first of all, luminous object, and non-luminous object. Now I am explaining about, first of all, luminous object. What is luminous objects? Once again, objects are classifying into two groups, luminous objects and non-luminous objects. First of all, what is meant by luminous object? What is meant by luminous object? Luminous objects means it is defined as the objects which emits its own light. The object which emits its own light, they are known as luminous objects or sources of light. Sources of light. Example for luminous objects are sun, stars. These are the some examples for luminous objects. Some other examples also: burning. When light emitted by a source of light falls on an object like a chair or a table or a book, some of the incident light is returned back by the object. The light returned back or reflected by the objects enters our eyes, hence the object is seen by us. This light enables us to see the objects which do not emit their own light. Another one important point about light is light always traveling in a straight line is represented by rays of light. This property of light is known as rectilinear propagation of light. See, children, the spelling of rectilinear, rectilinear propagation of light. What is rectilinear propagation, children? See, light always traveling in a straight line. Light always traveling in a straight line is known as rectilinear propagation of light. Okay, once more I am explaining again what is rectilinear propagation. Understood? Rectilinear propagation of light means the light always traveling in a straight line. This is very important point or important property of light, children, rectilinear propagation of light. Next is about a ray of light A ray of light and a beam of light. Ray of light and a beam of light. First of all, what is ray of light? A ray of light is a path followed by light energy in a transparent medium. Okay, look here, children. How to represent ray of light? A single line with the arrow represents a ray of light. Ray of light. Okay, next is about beam of light. A bundle of parallel rays of light emitted by the luminous object is called a beam of light. See, a group of parallel rays or a bundle of parallel rays emitted by the luminous object. First of all, we discussed about luminous object. What is luminous object? Now I am telling about beam of light. Beam of light means it is a group of parallel rays that are emitted by a luminous object. This is known as beam of light and this one is ray of light. A single line. It represents by a single line, that is ray of light. Here beam of light. Beam of light. Okay. Next is using the ray picture. These are the rays. Okay children, rays. Single ray and a bundle of a group of rays. Using the ray picture of light, we shall discuss the phenomena like reflection, refraction and the formation of images by the spherical mirrors and lenses. Next is about what is reflection. Reflection of light. Reflection of light is a process or phenomenon. Reflection of light is a process or phenomenon. The returning back of light to the same medium after striking the surface. Assume this is one surface. This side is the polished surface. On this polished surface incidents a ray of light. You can see here on the board, you can see this is surface. This is not polished surface, this side not polished, and this side is polished. On this polished surface, a ray of light incidents on this surface, and after incidence it touches and strikes or falls on this surface and returns back. This total process is known as reflection of light. And here another one term is reflector. Reflector, a surface which reflects the light. A surface which reflects the light is known as reflector. So, two terms studied, reflection of light and reflector. Reflection of light means when a ray falls on the surface, it is the process of returning back of light to the same medium after striking the surface. Process of returning back of light to the same medium after striking the surface. And this surface, the surface which reflects the light is known as reflector. Okay. The polished surfaces are good reflectors. The most commonly used reflector is a looking glass or a plane mirror. We are daily using our plane mirror. Okay children, I think you are understanding. Are you following? Okay. Now I am explaining about types of reflection. Then what are the two types of reflection? Here mainly dividing reflection. Concentrate here, children. Very important points are telling here. First of all, this reflection of light divided into two types: regular, irregular reflection, and another type is, second one is irregular reflection. Now I am explaining about this first type, regular reflection. What is regular reflection? We have explained about reflection of light. What is the definition for reflection of light is over. Next is about regular reflection. What is regular reflection? Listen here. Manasilavunundo? Regular reflection. Okay? Concentrate here. Reflection of light, regular reflection of light means if a parallel beam of light, if a beam of parallel rays falls on the smooth and highly polished surface, then the reflected beam also will parallel. The reflected beam also parallel and it moves in a fixed direction. Such type of reflection is known as regular reflection. Okay. Now I am rubbing this one. See, write it down. Reflections are two types: regular reflection and irregular reflection. Now I am explaining about regular reflection. I gave the definition for regular reflection. Now I am drawing and showing you how this reflection is happening. See, regular reflection. See, children, regular reflection means, first of all, I am drawing a reflector. What is reflector? First of all, I draw one reflector. What is reflector? A surface which reflects the light. A surface which reflects the light is reflector. On this reflector, a parallel beam of light rays falls on smooth and highly polished surface. Then after striking on this reflector, it returns back. Each ray returns back in a parallel way. And these all beams are moving in a fixed direction. So such type of reflection is known as regular reflection. And second one is irregular reflection. Irregular reflection. Okay. Irregular reflection. What is meant by irregular reflection? Before saying irregular reflection, searchlight and automobile headlights are the examples of regular reflection. Now I am giving you what are some examples of irregular reflection. Regular reflection examples are searchlights. Regular reflection is searchlight and automobile headlights. Automobile headlight ഏത് type reflection ആണ് നടക്കുന്നത്? Regular reflection ആണ് നടക്കുന്നത്. Now I am going through irregular reflection. Okay? എല്ലാവരും എഴുതിയെടുക്കുന്നുണ്ടല്ലോ? Irregular reflection. Okay, write it down. Irregular reflection means if a parallel beam of light falls on rough and not polished. Rough means not polished. on not polished surface. The reflected beam is not parallel. These reflected beams are or reflected rays are spreads over wide area. It diverges, spreads. Spreads means it moves in different directions. These rays are moving in different directions. Such type of reflection is known as irregular reflection, or another name for irregular reflection is diffused reflection. Diffused. Another name for irregular reflection is diffused reflection. Okay. Now I am showing you how to this irregular reflection, how is happening. Okay. Sorry. First of all, I want to draw rough surface. Rough surface. This is not smooth surface, not polished surface. This is rough surface, not polished. So a parallel beam of light falls on parallel beam of light falls on rough surface after reflection, or the reflected lights are moving in different directions. So such reflection known as irregular reflection or diffused reflection. Some examples for irregular reflection or diffused reflections are light reflected from the wooden table, newspaper. അതായത് ന്യൂസ്പേപ്പറിലോ വുഡൻ ടാബിളിലോ നമ്മൾ ലൈറ്റ് ഫോൾ ചെയ്യുകയാണെങ്കിൽ അവിടെ നടക്കുന്ന റിഫ്ലക്ഷൻ ആണ് പറയുന്നത് ഇറഗുലർ റിഫ്ലക്ഷൻ ഓർ ഡിഫ്യൂസ്ഡ് റിഫ്ലക്ഷൻ. After completing regular and irregular reflection, next point is about laws of reflection. Here coming two main laws, first law and second law. Okay. Look on the board. First of all, I draw one surface that is known as reflector. This is reflector. A surface which reflects the light is known as reflector. Before explaining or stating the two laws, first of all you understand about this diagram. Okay. First of all, a ray of light incidents on the reflector on the surface. After striking on this reflector or surface, it reflects back, returns back. A ray returns back from the surface. So, for this ray, the ray which strikes on the surface, a ray which strikes on the surface is known as incident ray. A ray which strikes on the surface is known as incident ray, and a ray which is returning back after striking the surface is known as a ray which returns back is known as reflected ray. So we got two rays, incident ray and reflected ray. Children, listen here. What is incident ray? Incident ray means a ray which strikes on the surface is incident ray. And what is reflected ray? A ray which returns back from the surface. A ray which returns back from the surface is known as reflected ray. After that, we constructing a perpendicular line from the surface, and this line is normal, constructing a line that is perpendicular to the reflector or perpendicular to the surface, 90 degree. So here we getting two angles. We are getting here we have created two angles. They are angle I and angle R. Angle I and angle R. What is angle I and angle R? Angle of incidence. First angle is angle of incidence and second one is angle of reflection. Here we getting two angles. Angle I and angle R. Angle I read it as angle of incidence and angle R read it as angle of reflection. Okay. Related with this diagram, we are going to state two laws. First law, മനസ്സിലാക്കുക ശ്രദ്ധിക്കുക. First law is angle of incidence is always equal to the angle of reflection. What is the first law? First law is angle I എപ്പോഴും angle R ന് equal ആയിരിക്കും. Angle I is always equal to the angle R. So, നമുക്ക് പറയാം angle I, if angle I is 40 degree, angle I 40 degree ആണെങ്കിൽ ഇവിടെ angle R എത്രയായിരിക്കും? Surely it will be 40 degree. Angle I is 40 degree, then angle R will be 40 degree. This is the first law. First law is angle I is always equal to the angle R. Angle of incidence is always equal to the angle of reflection. And second law states second law, for incident ray, reflected ray and normal to the surface are lies in the same plane. ഒരേ പ്ലെയിനിലാണ് ഈ മൂന്ന് ലൈൻസ് ഉള്ളത്. ഏതൊക്കെ മൂന്ന് റേസ് ആണ്? ഇൻസിഡന്റ് റേ, റിഫ്ലക്റ്റഡ് റേ, നോർമൽ. സർഫേസിനോട് വരച്ചിരിക്കുന്ന നോർമലും മൂന്നും ഒരേ പ്ലെയിനിലാണ്. സെയിം പ്ലെയിൻ. ദിസ് ലൈസ് ഇൻ ദ സെയിം പ്ലെയിൻ. ഓക്കെ. നൗ അഗൈൻ stating these two laws again. First law is angle I is angle of incidence is always equal to the angle of reflection. Second law, incident ray, reflected ray and normal to the surface are lies in the same plane. Okay children, in this video only this much. Study well. After watching this video, you subscribe and enable the bell icon. Okay, study well. Once again, study well.